so much to talk about. We've got a crime drama, a musical biopic like you've never seen before. We've got a rom-com. There's a little bit of something for everybody this week in movies with a look at what's out and what you might enjoy. It is our film critic, Rad.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, I'm so curious about some of these movies. Let's kick things off with the Den of Thieves sequel.
Yeah.
What is this?
Well, okay, so if you're not familiar with Den of Thieves, like this is like a crime drama or crime action movie that kind of gained cult status 7 years ago, because basically it was splitting the difference between like Heat and Fast and the Furious, right? On the one hand, it was trying to be this gritty crime drama. On the other hand, it was trying to be this cartoonish action movie like Fast and Furious. All of it riding on the charisma of Gerard Butler, who plays like this gonzo, unhinged American cop they call Big Nick. I mean, when you have a movie star, you're led by a Big Nick, you know things are gonna be unhinged. But this time around, the action moves from California to Europe, where Big Nick wants in on the score. He's no longer chasing the criminals, he wants to be part of them. And so he basically signs up to be part of this big diamond heist in the Côte d'Azur, with the Den of Thieves, so to speak. Thing is, there's no other personalities in this movie that kind of match that Gerard Butler energy.
You like his energy?
I love his energy.
Did you like the first one?
I enjoyed the first one marginally.
Okay.
It had the promise of let's go, if we just keep swinging harder like the Fast and the Furious franchise did, it would just get so much more fun. This one takes a little while to get going because there's no other personalities that can match the Gerard Butler energy. But when they get to the heist, it is fun. It's fun. It's a good enough January distraction that I was into it.
You were into it. Okay, who's this for?
I mean, look, like if you like those B-movie action movies like Army of Thieves and The Equalizer 3 that give you everything that you expect, but you know, with a little style, I think you'd like this one too.
Okay. This is the movie we're going to talk about now that I'm desperate to know what you think.
Okay.
This is the Robbie Williams biopic.
Yes.
Because the trailers I've seen for this are so weird.
Yeah.
Like so
totally turned me off.
Right, because explain a little bit about why they're so different.
Well, first of all, does anyone know who Robbie Williams is?
Of course.
Okay, well, I was like, who's this guy?
Really?
Because I know he's a global superstar, but I think like in North America, we had Justin Timberlake. Why did we need Robbie Williams?
Oh, that's funny.
You know?
No, I followed him for a long time.
Okay, so you knew a lot more going into me. And then, but of course, when you see this movie, he's played by a monkey.
Okay, this is what we're talking about. This is why I think it's so weird. So look at this, if you haven't seen it already. So that's the real guy.
That's the real Robbie Williams.
And then, where is he? There.
He is an extra from Planet of the Apes.
Well, what's going on? Exactly.
So basically, this director is tapping into this idea where Robbie Williams has felt like he was a performing monkey on stage. And he's like, well, let's play into that. And plus, because like Robbie Williams was this bad boy personality, there's this idea of like, you might call him like a Neanderthal. So he's like, I'm a slightly less evolved, he says in the movie, right? So, and look, and for me, when I saw this, like, is this some kind of gimmick? Like, are you really building your movie around this gimmick? But it totally works. It does, because this movie has this gonzo energy that's matching the personality of Robbie Williams. Yeah. And like the whole CGI monkey thing, that's not even the wildest thing about it.
Really?
It's the way this movie takes off as a real movie musical with all the gonzo. What's it called, by the way? It's called Better Man.
Yes.
And like, look, instead of being like, biopics, they love to tell you the whole narrative arc and they like to flatter the person's artistry. This movie's almost like, this guy's not even that talented. Like Robbie Williams, he was a very self-deprecating person. It's all about him dealing with his traumas and his demons, and it's riding those emotional waves and not trying to convince you that he's a great artist. Instead, it's just like taking you on like his craving for attention and the death and the trauma that led to that and the desperation that kind of fueled him and his own willingness to like look at himself and look at all the mistakes of his past. So that honesty took me back, and the energy of this movie kind of won me over, and so I enjoyed this.
So that's enticing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so who's this for?
Look, I mean, I think if you love like Rocket Man, which is, like that movie was also kind of not trying to tell you a linear story of Elton John's life, like it was kind of just riding his energy. It's like that. And also if you like a movie musical like La La Land, I know you're a little, you did? There you go. Okay, so then you definitely love
I think I'm gonna like this movie.
You'd enjoy it.
Okay, let's talk rom-com. This is one that was shot in Toronto?
Yes, shot in Toronto, set in Toronto, but also based on an 18th century German novel called The Sorrows of Young Werther. So basically,
it's called Young Werther.
It's called Young Werther, and the novel is about like this kind of aristocratic guy who's after a woman who's already engaged, and so basically they're setting it in Toronto and splitting the difference between the source material and the modern day setting, where you have people in Toronto talking about finishing school and selling off their prized horse and stuff, and kind of laughing at itself and all the anachronisms along the way. So like, look, it's a Canadian rom-com with these kind of aristocratic airs, and it's laughing at itself, and it's sometimes that kind of the gimmick works. Sometimes it takes you out of the emotions.
Who's it for?
Who's it for? Look. it's for anyone who loves Alison Pill, first of all, because
Okay.
she's charming and timeless
Oh,
forever.
that's nice.
But also, if you like movies like The Trotsky and Anyone But You. Trotsky is another Canadian comedy that was like, you know, based on Vladimir Trotsky, so splitting the difference between the time of doing the past and the present. But also Anyone But You, which is, you know, genuinely fun rom-com that was also based on Shakespeare. So
Great airplane movie. Right, that one.
all of them are great airplane movies. Yes.
Rad, always good to see you. Thanks
Good
so
to
much.
see you. Thanks.
Coming up.
If you liked that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.